Welcome back to the channel. So, not only does that show growth, but it also shows attractiveness, a magnetism that continues to pull developers, institutions, and investors into the Stellar ecosystem. Every single indicator we've seen this year proves that Stellar isn't just surviving in the volatile crypto landscape, it's thriving. When a blockchain consistently attracts new projects, new users, and institutional players, it's a signal of trust, scalability, and relevance. The ability to pull in new development isn't just about expanding the network, it's about setting the stage for a financial revolution that emphasizes inclusion and accessibility. That's what makes Stellar's growth so compelling. It's not hype-driven, it's use case-driven. And as we head deeper into 2025 and move toward 2026, that roadmap becomes even more ambitious, particularly when it comes to privacy, regulatory readiness, and enterprise expansion. Disclaimer: this video is for educational and informational purposes only and should not be taken as financial advice. Let's start by revisiting what just happened with Protocol 23. The upgrade didn't just bring minor fixes, it introduced a suite of improvements that enhance the reliability, security, and overall efficiency of the network. Payment channels became faster, the transaction layer became more resilient, and cross-border settlement became smoother than ever. These are not small wins. These are foundational upgrades that will shape how Stellar operates in an increasingly competitive Web3 environment. But now, as the ecosystem digests the impact of Meridian 2025, the annual gathering where Stellar's developers, partners, and industry leaders align their vision, the conversation has already shifted forward to Protocol 24, and that's where things get exciting. Protocol 24 represents the next evolution of Stellar's mission. Its core theme? Privacy. Privacy is not just a buzzword, it's the next frontier in blockchain innovation. Think about it. As more traditional financial institutions explore blockchain integration, privacy becomes a non-negotiable requirement. These organizations handle billions in daily transactions and must comply with strict data security standards. For Stellar to be their blockchain of choice, privacy must be baked into the architecture itself. That's exactly what Protocol 24 aims to achieve. The foundation isn't just responding to industry demand, it's anticipating it. Stellar has always stood for access, and that word carries deep meaning in its ecosystem. Access to capital, access to global payments, access to innovation, and most importantly, access for people who have been left out of the traditional financial system. This is why Stellar's partnerships matter so much. Institutions like MoneyGram, PayPal, Franklin Templeton, Visa, and Paxos aren't just names, they're validation. Each partnership represents a bridge between the old world of finance and the new world of decentralized technology. When you see a name like Visa collaborating with Stellar, it tells you that the technology has matured enough to handle institutional scale. These collaborations also reinforce Stellar's growing reputation as a leader in real-world asset tokenization, WA. Tokenizing traditional financial products, whether that's bonds, securities, or commodities, has long been touted as one of blockchain's most promising use cases. Stellar is one of the few networks actually doing it. They're not chasing speculative trends. They're building infrastructure that real businesses can use. And that's precisely why new developers are choosing Stellar. For newcomers entering blockchain development, Stellar offers a stable, well-documented, and enterprise-ready environment. But privacy is the golden thread tying all these developments together. The upcoming protocol will introduce confidential tokens, zero-knowledge proof verification, and privacy-preserving smart contracts. These are advanced features that allow transactions to remain auditable while keeping sensitive information encrypted. Imagine being able to move assets across borders while maintaining compliance, but without exposing financial details to the entire world. That's the promise of Stellar's privacy roadmap. And in the long run, that's what's going to attract larger banks, government institutions, and fintech players who want to participate without sacrificing security or discretion. Stellar has already demonstrated its ability to handle massive transactional throughput through its partnerships with major institutions. But what's even more interesting is the human capital behind the scenes, the leadership that's driving this momentum. Recently, Jose Diante joined as the Chief Growth Officer at the Stellar Development Foundation, SDF. His appointment is a huge strategic move. Not only does he bring a deep understanding of financial technology, but he also sits on the International Advisory Board of Santander Bank, one of the oldest and most respected banks in the world. Santander's advisory board isn't just symbolic. It's a powerhouse of influence focused on innovation, digital transformation, cybersecurity, and regulatory evolution. Its role is to shape the future of finance through technological insight. And now, one of Stellar's top executives sits right there in the middle of that conversation. This is an intersection that could prove historic for blockchain adoption in traditional banking. Through Diante, Stellar gains visibility in boardrooms that most crypto projects can only dream of reaching. Imagine the kind of synergy that creates. When Santander hosts its next strategic meeting, Stellar's voice will be in the room. When the SDF discusses expanding cross-border solutions, Santander's network of global partners could become potential collaborators. This cross-pollination of ideas and influence creates a pipeline for institutional engagement that's unlike anything Stellar has had before. And if you think this is just speculation, look at the historical pattern. Back in 2021, Denell Dixon, the CEO of the Stellar Development Foundation, appeared before U.S. Congress to discuss blockchain regulation and financial inclusion. That single moment shifted perceptions across the financial industry. Within months, MoneyGram, which was previously working closely with Ripple, changed direction and started collaborating with Stellar instead. These moments of visibility, of being in the room where it happens, create long-term ripple effects that influence industry decisions for years. So, pay attention to who's connecting with who, because every relationship matters. Diante's background, for instance, includes years at PayPal, which now issues its own stablecoin, PYUSD, officially live on the Stellar blockchain. That's no coincidence. It's the result of sustained networking, relationship building, and technical readiness. PayPal wouldn't have integrated Stellar if it didn't meet enterprise-grade reliability. Now, circling back to developers, the lifeblood of any blockchain ecosystem, this is where the most promising growth is happening. Denell Dixon herself emphasized in a recent interview that the future of Stellar lies in bridging the gap between expert users and mainstream users. For years, blockchain was an experimenter's playground, dominated by tech enthusiasts and coders. But now, we're witnessing the shift toward real-world adoption, and that shift requires simplifying the user experience. Dixon compared it to the early days of the internet, where very few people understood what HTTPS was, yet everyone benefited from it. Blockchain is moving toward that same invisibility, becoming part of the infrastructure rather than a novelty. And this is where enterprise partnerships come into play. As Dixon said, enterprise distribution is key to reaching the next billion users. When you integrate with giants like Franklin Templeton, MoneyGram, and PayPal, you bring millions of users into the blockchain ecosystem, even if those users don't realize it. They might not hold their own keys or interact directly with the network, but they're benefiting from Stellar's underlying technology through custodial wallets or integrated financial products. That's progress that doesn't always show up on chain, but it's real. Now let's dive into something a bit more technical. The MyCA regulation, the European Union's landmark crypto framework. One of the most interesting discussions sparked by MyCA revolves around how utility tokens are classified. When I looked into the MyCA white paper, the clarity of their definitions was almost shocking. It was so straightforward that it made you wonder why it had taken regulators so long to put this in writing. MyCA classifies tokens based on their function, not their hype. And that's a perspective Stellar fits neatly into. In that context, Stellar would fall under the other classification alongside networks like VeChain, XDC, and Chili's. Blockchains that serve hybrid purposes, offering both operational and utility functionalities. Stellar's XLM token serves as the operational backbone of the network. You can't send or receive assets on Stellar without establishing a trust line in XLM. That's what keeps the network efficient and spam-free. But beyond its operational use, XLM also functions as a utility token, facilitating access to services like MoneyGram Access, where users can seamlessly convert between fiat and crypto. And that's just the visible layer. Behind the scenes, wallet providers like Decaf are abstracting away the complexities. They handle trust lines and XLM balances on behalf of users, allowing people to interact with Stellar-based apps without ever worrying about the technical details. It's a level of user-friendliness that echoes what fintech apps did for traditional banking, hiding the complexity while preserving the functionality. This seamless integration of utility and accessibility is what positions Stellar to thrive under future regulatory environments. It's compliant, functional, and service-oriented. 3 pillars that will matter more than hype as global financial systems continue to digitize. Now let's step into something many might have missed: Bridge. Remember them? Bridge is the company that's next in line to apply for a national trust charter, a move that would position them as a major player in crypto-to-fiat conversion and regulated asset management. Stellar is one of the networks Bridge supports natively. Through Bridge, you can connect assets from multiple blockchains, including Ethereum, Polygon, and Solana, and move USDC seamlessly to and from the Stellar network. That interoperability makes Stellar a hub in an increasingly multi-chain world. And if that wasn't enough to make you raise an eyebrow, here's something from left field. Sony, yes, the gaming and entertainment giant, is reportedly filing for a bank charter of its own. While there's no direct connection to Stellar yet, the implications are massive. Sony's entrance into fintech could redefine how digital wallets, game economies, and blockchain-powered payment systems operate. Pair that with the upcoming PlayStation 6, and you can see the direction this is heading: integrated financial ecosystems baked directly into entertainment platforms. Imagine in-game assets tied to regulated stablecoins, NFTs functioning as verified ownership proofs, and interoperability between gaming tokens and real-world currencies. That's the broader digital landscape Stellar is preparing for. On a yearly scale, XLM is up 250%, marking one of the longest sustained growth periods in its recent history. This isn't just a short-term pump. It's the result of consistent ecosystem development, regulatory engagement, and network reliability. For longtime watchers, like many of you who have followed Stellar for years, this milestone feels deeply satisfying. After enduring bear markets, regulatory uncertainty, and endless comparisons to other networks, Stellar has found its lane and is accelerating confidently within it. And this sustained performance signals something bigger: maturity. Stellar is no longer the scrappy underdog fighting for recognition. It's now part of the financial backbone being adopted by global players. Every upgrade, every partnership, every protocol release is a calculated step toward a world where blockchain is invisible, yet indispensable. So as we move into the next year, keep your eyes on Stellar. Between Protocol 24's privacy enhancements, enterprise expansion through Santander and PayPal, regulatory clarity under MiCA, and interoperability with Bridge, the foundation is being laid for something truly transformative. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update. Your engagement keeps this community growing and helps us bring you even more detailed, research-backed crypto content every single week.